Hello. I'm upside
Brendon,
down. Trying to
how
work
are
out
you?
charging. Huh?
How are you?
Doing fine, thanks. How's everybody?
Good. We've got Ron Benway in here. He went to bed
Oh,
early
what?
so that he could be here for this.
Oh, wow. Good morning, Ron.
Looks like my friend John in Santa Barbara is on. Susan here in York. All right, this is great.
Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Let's get started right away. Why don't you tell us who you are, where you are, and what you do?
So, my name is Brendon Massei, or Massei, as some say, and I try to stay out of that argument. I'm a musician, first and foremost, I guess. I'm a songwriter, I should say. I'm still struggling to work with my tools, but I like to write songs and sing them. That's my foremost occupation, I'd say. But I just arrived New York um, about a few days before this all these pandemic lockdowns happened. Before that, I'd been living in Copenhagen in Denmark for about 6 months, and um, and now I'm in New York because that's where the wheels fell off of the wagon.
Oh
But
dear.
I'm with family, so that's good. Well, I'm with my partner's family, so but it's the same ultimately.
Yeah.
As much as you and Ron are, I would say we're all any of those circumstances could have been fine. So, but I'm in New York now, just outside of town, maybe about 30 miles. So it's nice. It's kind of out in the woods, and it feels completely removed
Good.
from the chaos. But it's looming. It's the
Yeah.
threat of death looming. So.
And you came back because of what was going on, or had you already been planning to come back?
Completely unrelated. So my partner Nora and I were just gonna come back to just kind of she had a like a job change at work where she went to being a contractor from uh, and being an employee, and then just some different like kind of shifts, but to what I mean. So we decided, well, we'll come back uh, to America at least for the time being and kind of resituate everything, and then she became basically full time remote, and all my work is full time remote as well. So we thought, well, this would be a good opportunity to do some of these other things that we were interested in, like work while touring, for example. And
Sure.
so we were planning to be home for a few weeks, and then we would be in Italy right now. Otherwise, that's we have these flights to be in Spain and Italy, and obviously those plans were canceled. Um, but so yeah, that was basically um, kind of we just had it was just really good timing as far as I'm concerned to be in a place that's safe and remote and with loved ones, especially um, many of us didn't have those kind of options. So I think
Yeah.
that's just the way the stars line for us. But here we are. So it's been pretty good.
I'm glad that it worked out the way. I need to apologize. Normally, I don't allow my cat into the guest room.
Oh,
My other cat passed away this week, and so this one is
I'm
like, it was brutal. But this one has been attached to me like crazy. I think she's freaked out because the other cat disappeared, and so I came in here and closed the door like I do every Sunday, and she started banging on the door. So I let her in, thinking that that would help. But she was just chasing her tail all the way through that. I'm sure she'll be back. So sorry, sorry about that. Um, so now that you guys have relocated and you're in New York with family, how are you, passing the time with what's going on?
well, we're both working a lot, and so we both have different clients. We both kind of do like business analysis to some degree in varying capacities depending on the client. But right now I've got about three or four like kind of business clients outside of music. I also represent a handful of artists through Epiphone Music. So and that takes shape in anywhere from music publishing to music licensing to artist management to producing recordings and in various uh, involvements. But similarly, I work for a bunch of like kind of small business, like artists and like historic preservationists and kind of things in that world, and doing anything from business administration to marketing, other kinds of activities. But so that's been keeping me really busy because luckily most of my involvement, I've always done remotely anyway. So it's been just a smooth transition
Yeah.
from being allowed to go outside to not being able to go outside. So, um, but that being said, I've been, I'm more or less a homebody anyway. And if I'm touring, even it's like I'm doing this stuff from, the driver's seat or backstage or something or on a train. So there's there's been the only real adjustment is not like I'm not somewhere on playing shows. And
Right. Are
yeah.
you getting to do much creatively outside of that work?
Yeah, I have. I feel like I've been writing a lot of music lately and coming back to think like different music projects that I've started and haven't otherwise been able to see the completion. So I'm revisiting a lot of music stuff and even starting new songs. Um, Mostly just the instrumentation. Like I haven't got to lyrics or anything yet, but that always for me has come last. Um, but it's that's all that there's been there. Like been reading a lot and watching tons of movies on streaming on the internet and yeah, it's been
Are you, for the reading and the movies, are you delving into new things, or are you finding that you're revisiting old favorites?
probably a little both. I mean, I feel like there's certainly more time now to like discover stuff, but I'm a bit of a creature of habit also. So I find myself just like over the years I've accumulated stacks and stacks of books, and so this has been an opportune uh, chance to just start you know going through those and so I've been doing a lot of that. And in terms of reading material, I haven't really discovered new stuff outside of like articles or whatever, journals or news. Um, Movies and stuff, it's just like it's all new to me if I haven't seen it. So, but I've been like going to a lot of classics and stuff like on the Turner channel, whatever the classic movie channels. And
Right.
but any recommend, people, having all these phone calls with friends and stuff, being able to, talk about stuff. If I have access to it, I'll usually try to absorb it somehow.
What have you been listening to? Have you gotten to listen to much music?
Yeah, yeah. I've been listening mostly to like um Nora's the DJ. Nora's my partner. Yeah, you know Nora. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nora's the DJ most of the time, so we listen to a lot of French rap. Right now, there's this artist that we really, really love from Paris called Youvdi. And it's Youv, and then the next is Dee. But he's great. He's just it's super fun. And right before we came to New York, we got to see him perform in Dunkirk, which is this really small little coastal French city. It's kind of like Calais if you've ever traveled, you know, across the tunnel or whatever, and from England, between England and Paris. But just this little old sleepy seaside town. And so for him, it was probably like a smaller than average show, and I would say it was probably like the size of York Depot or something, like a
Mm.
200 to 300 capacity small little nightclub, and it was so much fun. And we were just like like I can't even imagine. Like it was the first time I've been into like that uh, crowded of a show since like the 90s, basically, since those White Snake fires happened, and now you can only have so many people in a club. So it was like like just being rammed, and it's all like 14-year-old boys, you know mostly. And so we're just all like you know just shoulder to shoulder, and people, it was just great. It was the greatest energy. It was like I haven't felt that at a show since like Nirvana, basically. So it was super fun. And we like Nora and I just like totally fanned out. We were like waiting after the show, like behind the building for and there's like 5 or 6 kids waiting also to meet the artist. And and the night went on and on and on, and finally it was just Nora and I left, and some guy comes out and is like, "Are you waiting for somebody?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're just hoping that the band would come out." And so they, "Oh, let me get him." And they grabbed UD and his some of his whoever his crew were, and they all came out, and talk, and I was wearing my Baltimore Ravens sweater, and he's like, "Oh, Baltimore," and we're like, "Yeah, we're from Baltimore." You know, he's like, "What are you doing here?" And we like, "We love your music." It was just totally cool. It was,
That's fun.
yeah.
And
So
so
yeah.
when he's rapping, it's all in French.
It's all in French, yeah, and I don't
And
speak French at all, and nor studied it a little bit. But it's just the energy is awesome. But we're actually like we're doing a lot of language studies too, and Nora's using that as kind of her like her go-to tool for learning French. Especially it's like slang, it's modern,
sure.
it's a kind of different level of it. So it's and they're doing it seems like they're doing all these interesting things in like French street language has become popular in a way that it's really like it's being accepted like in higher levels of society, like
Hmm.
politicians and stuff are using a lot of these weird language techniques where they're taking like again, I don't speak the language, so hopefully I don't butcher this concept too much, but like I think they're like taking like a word, um, say like femme or something for woman, or and what they do is they kind of alter, they take the front off and switch it, and it's like move or something, and so like they're kind of coming up with new vocabulary with
Huh.
this interesting weird wordplay. And then from a rap context, or a songwriting context, they can really like it just like completely opens up new dimensions for poetry, I'd say. So you can like rhyme all these new words that you're creating, and just it's cool. It's kind of a fascinating time to look at that kind of a culture, like language culture, poetry.
Yeah, the language and linguistics nerd in me is really excited that you're that you're learning about that as you go. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And so she's studying French, and I'm kind of concentrating on different, like Latin, Italian, Spanish, and I just found this other book that just kind of was like a crowbar to my brain 2 days ago, which was a like a comparative grammar of like it was like Latin, Sanskrit, Gothic, all these old, really ancient languages, and they were, even like you get 500 pages into it, and then it's like now we're going to talk about the cardinal numbers. It's like you get nowhere, but it's just so deep, and they were just kind of talking about the like the origins of these cardinal numbers, and and not only how they're related linguistically, in like the Indo-European language families, but just kind of like how, for example, like the number four contains the number three linguistically inside the number four. So, like for example, and that's been preserved in a lot of languages. Say um, like 14 or something like in a Romance language or something for four or quattro or something, and so it would be like it would be like one and three makes the word for four. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of nerding out about this stuff, but it was pretty interesting. That's kind of like that's the little isolated brain box I'm living in now. So
I'm so glad. I think that's really interesting.
yeah,
Um, let's see. So, have you gotten to watch any of the live streams that people have been performing? Any of your friends doing any of that?
yeah, I've watched a few. Yeah, and it's been interesting. It's been really interesting just seeing how different people are doing it. So it's something that I haven't journey. This is my first like going live thing ever. That's not like a private phone call or something. I haven't like performed or even participated in anything like that. So this is exciting. But I'm glad you're at the other end of it. I can't imagine just playing into my phone alone or something. That would be, uh, yeah, I don't know. But it's nice. I feel like at least what you and I were just having a phone call. Like I actually kind of forgot that there's other people here. So, but but yeah, no, it's been cool to see how different people are doing it and what benefits it's having. It's it's
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting how just like any innovation, like we have this circumstance, we have this health crisis, and uh, the creative ways we approach it, whether it's through music or any other kind of business. Later, like in like 2 hours, I'm gonna have like a host, like be a moderator for a like a work meeting for a company in Maryland, and over the past couple of weeks, I've been doing like moderating these chats, kind of closed circuit, but for members of a trades association, and it's interesting not only just to be able to facilitate these these conversations and these meetups virtually, to have these conversations, but also what comes out of that, what comes out of that innovation in terms of ideas, like what are other members, or what are of groups or whatnot, how are they addressing the problems, and it's been very interesting to hear. A lot of people are weathering the storm quite well, and
Hmm.
and when we talk about this in these group settings, we can find ways that, like, we can each gain a bit from that knowledge, and try it and see if it works in our little um, you know existence, our own little ecosphere or whatever.
Yeah, the sociological aspect of all of this is fascinating, and watching how people's experimentation is evolving to make the ways they're connecting a little bit better. Like, for instance, with music, they're figuring out how to make the sound better, or the camera not shake, or whatever the case, so that they're honing what they're doing. And it's been cool
Yeah,
to watch that happening in real time and getting to experience it along with them.
yeah, it's been crazy. It's been interesting seeing, like, Ron Benway, for example, who does. I mean, he has so many different types of artistic outputs, whether it's music or animation or comedy or whatever it is. But he, like, to see him taking busking, like street performance, to the to this platform is, I don't know. I don't really know a lot of other buskers, but I don't know of them who are taking their livelihood to this platform, and talking to him about it, and the support that he's had from it, and he seems to be able to, and I mean, for somebody like Ron, it's his livelihood, so that can continue, um, virtually uninterrupted, is brilliant. And again, back to UD, this artist, we've been going live with him, as and every I think it's been like every day for the past week or something. He's been going on at like 4 p.m. and, like, doing his, like, party, and he gets on with his fans, and one day, but we're gonna do this today, or tomorrow we're gonna do this, and it's just like, it's cool. It's a great, like, for an artist to just stay connected to their audience, interact with them. It's like you can't do a concert, but you still have your phone, you still have this internet connection, and again, whether it's like to innovate new ideas, like, oh shit, how am I going to survive in this business, or, like, is it just like, how are we going to just continue doing what we love doing together as a group, like, I want to keep entertaining you. So he's, whether he's like just DJing a playlist that he likes and just dancing and having fun, or, like, there's this producer, again, another French, like, hip hop producer, Schooner Boy, and he's been just going live, and like, with his laptop on, and he's just in his apartment, and his kids are playing in the background. He's making beats, and producing the next whatever song's gonna be getting hundreds of thousands of plays or whatever. So that's cool to see, that kind of, like, having that window into the creative process, and as a fan and as an audience member, it's really valuable, and as a fellow creator, it's extremely valuable to kind of, be able to glean from that kind of innovation, to see how we can apply it, to our own activities. So,
Yeah, it's inspiring.
yeah,
I see Ron says in the chat, got to make a stage wherever it is.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think, Ron has said, I think I talked to him last week, Easter. All the Sundays are starting to run together, but I talked to Ron and he was saying he felt like it's his responsibility as an entertainer to be finding new ways to reach people, and keep
yeah,
doing that. So he does it
absolutely.
in part out of a sense of obligation to do that.
Yeah,
So I think that's
yeah.
interesting too. Um, Brendon, to
I,
wrap
I've
up here,
yeah.
how can we best support you during this time? Where can people find more about you? What would you like to say to wrap things up?
Well, if you want to support the music that I make, or even just, if I imagine not everybody even knows about it. So if you want to, hear it to decide whether you want to support it or not, VikingMoses.com is probably the easiest place. That's my project name, Viking Moses, or internet searches or whatever. I work with, like, in my opinion, a group of the most interesting original artists around. People who've not only been tremendous friends, but who have been able to grow friendship through my love of what they do. Epipho Music is just yeah, it's just that's the roster who I work with, and it always changes, you know. But right now there's a good group on there. So there's an artist, Matthew Paul Butler, Jesse Ainsley. There's a handful of really, if you like, you know, if you like deep kind of prolific songwriting, I think you know you'd be into it. Yeah, you know. In the tradition of the American songbook, you know, kind of straightforward guitar based, lyric based stuff. But it's really, really thoughtful and, in my opinion, extremely uh, lasting, meaningful music. And so epifomusic.com, EPIFO music.com, and that just brings us to our Bandcamp page, essentially. But lots of cool stuff to check out there. Golden Ghost, we've been working together for a long time. She's still making great stuff. Spencer Kingman, um, yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff to discover there. So yeah. Otherwise, if people uh, need help with, you know, rethinking their business, big or small, arts related or not, again, that's something that that's what I do mostly for my paycheck. So that's, you know, I like getting involved in different things. So whatever somebody needs help, I try to be there if I can
Good.
harmonize it.
Well, I'd like to say, since Ron's still on here, thank you to Ron for suggesting that that we chat. I didn't
Yeah,
realize we were
thanks.
back, so this was a lot easier than I thought it might have been with lining up time zones and everything.
Oh yeah,
Um, for anybody who's watching, I'm doing this on the hour for the rest of the day. Up next at 1 o'clock will be Joshua Black Wilkins, who I met as a musician, but has transitioned to full-time photography, um, mostly with musicians. So looking forward to talking to him. And then on throughout the day, you can see the schedule on my profile. But Brendon, thank you so, so much for taking
JJ,
the
thank
time
you
to
so much.
chat. And
Yeah,
stay safe, stay healthy. And I hope I get to see you soon.
you too, and please send our love to Carter.
Sure will. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
have a good one.
You
Bye.
too.